Hello, welcome to Premier Scene. I'm Claire Bueno, where the welfare of great storytelling is in very safe hands as we attend the premiere of The Children Act. May I say, one of the most memorable movie moments in cinema history, particularly for me, is in Love Actually, when you're in the bedroom and you first really get the essence of that your husband is potentially unfaithful. And I wondered whether this film was also an opportunity for you to delve deeper into that emotion and maybe explore that a little bit more.
No, it's two different stories, and Love Actually is 20 years ago or something. I mean, I'm like, no. This is a sort of very different thing, because this is a woman who has an incredibly powerful public life. She's rocked by it, but he's announcing this intention because he needs her to listen to him. It's an entirely different situation, and she doesn't quite know what to do with herself, and the fact is, of course, she's so used to thinking of herself as omniscient and omnipotent that she's perhaps not been listening and not able to step down and say, okay, we need to talk, and that's a kind of grandiosity, I think, but it's very subtle, it's not she's too proud to talk. It's not that. It's that you also have to consider how much defending she has to do when she's dealing with all that pain that going past her every day, and those defences that come up, I think, are the things that she hasn't always managed to bring down when she's at home.
Dignity.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. Good word.
And Emma Thompson was your first choice of act.
Emma Thompson, and if we hadn't had Emma Thompson, the film wouldn't and couldn't have been made.
This part that you're playing is incredibly intense, isn't it? It must have been a wonderful experience for you to just really research and get your teeth into.
Yeah, totally. It's such an incredible role and such a rare role, I think. I don't think I've ever really seen many roles about Jehovah's Witness, especially a Jehovah's Witness with leukemia, and the whole issue it raises is so incredible. So, it was an amazing opportunity when it came about.
Did you sort of go into your own kind of world of research into the Jehovah's Witness faith and just how much it really does mean to them, so you can then bring that extra layer of authenticity?
Yeah, absolutely. I did as much research as I could about the illness and about Jehovah's Witness, and I went to a Jehovah's Witness meeting and service and talked to the people there, and I said that I just got a leaflet through the door. I thought I was going to be found out at any moment, but yeah, it went all right.
And the film also is a complicated relationship between a judge that you start to idolise, really. Was that an interesting aspect of the relationship to play out?
Absolutely. I think he totally idolises her and obsesses over her, and for him, she is this kind of gateway into this world that he doesn't know outside of the Jehovah's Witness, and she introduces him to Yeats and everything else, and I think for him, outside of Jehovah's Witness, he would be very lonely, and he sees her as his only kind of ally.
If my research is correct, the genesis of this story was a night out with members of the judiciary. Is that correct?
That's right. I was impressed by the way they'd all read each other's judgments and rather teased each other, and then I started reading some judgments in the in the family division, and I thought, all of the concerns of the novel are here. Love, the end of love, the care of children, what happens to money, death, birth, everything. In a way, a lot more human and interesting, to me at least, than the criminal courts. Some of these judgments are very finely balanced. Sometimes it's two opposing goods. We're not talking of evil here, just human difference.
And of course, one specific story, of course, is the young lad that is suffering, who's a Jehovah's Witness, suffering with leukemia, which gives a real moral dilemma, doesn't it? And this isn't just fiction, this is something that happens in fact. So how do you keep that balance?
These cases come up a great deal, and in fact this is sort of based on a real case where the judge went to the bedside, as happens in the movie. In the real case, the judge and the boy talked football, and then the judge decided that the hospital did have permission to treat the boy, and he took him to a Man United game and fulfilled the boys' ambitions.
And with this story, we've got a very kind of unorthodox love triangle.
Yes.
Can I say that?
Sort of love. It's not quite erotic. I mean, this boy is the child maybe that the judge never had, and for her, he represents a kind of intellectual guru. You know, he suddenly is just interested by her mind and by her open mind, and she turns him on to poetry and music, and everything then follows.
And you've adapted. You obviously wrote the book, and I believe it was a difficult decision for you to adapt the screenplay as well. What was the final decision?
No, it was a simple decision.
Was it really?
I so much wanted to work with Richard again. We hadn't worked together for so many years, so I always wanted him to do something for us to do something together, and this seemed perfect. So I showed him the novel even before it was published, in the hope that he would say yes, and he did. So I was very pleased.
This film the script is just absolutely wonderful, isn't it? I can't imagine you couldn't stop turning the pages.
Well, I couldn't stop turning the pages of the book, let alone the script. I adored it, and I found, I think when I read the book before I read the script, and what I was more concerned about was how to get inside the mind of this person, and not from my point of view, but I mean from a script point of view. And I think both Ian and Richard have done the most amazing job and Emma, of course, of sort of relaying thoughts, and it absolutely carries the movie right the way through to the end, and is heartbreaking.
It really is. I mean, and for Emma, that the performance has to be very contained, and there's a lot of kind of inner life and emotions coming out really through expression, isn't it? Really.
They're absolutely right. And if ever someone like Emma was to teach, someone like me about acting, it's about making sure you have the thought. If you even, the thought from an acting point of view, having a thought will project onto a screen, not automatically, but I mean, with skill, you can create, you can help the audience understand what you're thinking.
And there's your working colleagues, aren't you, in the film?
We are.
Yes, yeah. And I just wondered whether we actually see a kind of other side, and maybe perhaps a warmer side of Judge Fiona through the relationships that you both have.
Yes, it's a lovely relationship, and actually, I don't know if you're aware, but this is the concert that you're referring to that we rehearse. It's a concert that they absolutely do every year, and we shot in and around the law courts, and there was at one point we were taken downstairs and we were shown through a window of all these lawyers getting ready to do the Christmas concert. It was absolutely sublime.
Many congratulations with this film. I mean, it really is a very sort of touching, moving story, isn't it?
Have you seen it?
I have indeed.
You have, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, good. Did you cry?
I did. I really
lump in the
did.
throat. Yeah, no. I was just saying it's one of those films that who knows how much longer we'll be making films like this for the cinema, with the like of Netflix and Amazon and Apple and so on, really taking over, and I'm hoping that we're not the last wave. That these sorts of films will keep on getting financed for the big screen, and that the audience, like me, will tire of all those films with man in the title: Superman, Spider-Man, Batman, so on and so on and so on. Well, woman would be actually a nice change, I think it's becoming a bit of a ghetto, isn't it? Cinema now for just big visual effects extravaganzas, and I hope that there's room for good stories well told.
And that are character driven, which this very much is, isn't it? Really.
Yes, I mean, it's hard to argue against Netflix making long series of character-driven stories, because we always used to say, fitting it into 90 minutes is quite hard. If only we had 5 hours. Well, now that is possible. So that I don't disapprove of, obviously. How can you? But I do think big screen experiences should not be restricted to sequels and as superhero films.
And talking of experiences, one of the wonderful things that we experience through this film, and what disarms us in this film, is the routine that we see Judge Fiona going through, the walking to work, and you're actually filming in the Royal Court of Justice. Can you tell us more about the logistics of actually being able to do that?
Well, we had a consultant, a friend of Ian's, in fact, the man who, as a judge, judged some of the stories that really inspired Ian to write the novel in the first place, Sir Alan Ward. And Sir Alan is so respected, and he's retired now, but so loved by the legal world, I was going to say industry, that he was our passepartout. He introduced us to the under-treasurer, who was the sort of CEO of Gray's Inn, and they sort of gave us carte blanche to film Gray's Inn. Sir Alan then took us to meet the Lord Chief Justice, and the Lord Chief Justice said, yes, you can film in the Royal Courts, which is something that is actually forbidden at the moment.
Say, especially in this
Great
precarious
Hall.
time that we're in
Yeah.
at the moment. We also see the more contemporary side of the Royal Courts of Justice as well, don't we?
Well, we see the family division, which is something that is not usually seen in TV dramas. In TV dramas, we're used to the criminal courts, but it is nice to see something in the family division, which, as Ian said, is sort of the stories, the pain. It's all family related, and it's sort of like the stuff of the 19th century novel. It's very different from the usual TV fare.